Hello and welcome to the disaster of my Lego room. Now, we've got big problems and this isn't clickbait, hence why it says disaster across the top. The floorboard has given away underneath one of these tables. So underneath our superhero display where we were just starting to get our teeth sunk back into it a good while ago now, hence why it now looks like an absolute bomb's gone off. I now need to move all of this. I'm going to start with this table and just see if I can bodge it. I need to move all of this over onto this, which means all of this is now going to need to be pushed back. One or two new additions since we last did a little bit of a Lego update. We've got the roller coaster track there for the blue 3-in-1 space track. That looks absolutely beautiful. That colour is really, really nice. I think it works really smart against the red coaster. Now, there's going to be lots and lots of changes going on. So this video is very much a case of I need to get the floor fixed and get it sorted. And then after that, I'm going to do a poll. We're then going to figure out exactly what area you want to start on first. Potentially it might be the Harry Potter section, just because it's going to be this first table just here, and then we're just going to wrap it round and go through. Now, with regards to this, I know you guys wanted height, so we're going to raise that back up ever so slightly. Then we're then going to have some bits and pieces going underneath. There's going to be lots and lots of mocking and all that kind of stuff going on. And with regards to the new Harry Potter set that will be coming out, the one with the track underneath, I need to speak to you guys about that as well, because what I am thinking is raising all of these up. So the height of these will be basically, the base will be where the top is, so the top goes higher, which will then leave us almost like an alley underneath the alley, where we'll have the roller coaster track underneath, and then we can just have a queue line to the actual ride underneath maybe, and then we have almost like a floating floor put in at the top. That I need your help with. And then where does that merge into? There's lots and lots of different bits and pieces that I want to do, and also need to discuss what we're going to do with the Jurassic Park gates and all of the other Jurassic Park sets. Do I get the Jurassic Park, all the other Jurassic Park sets, and then put the loop roller coaster with it? Because obviously that roller coaster is absolutely massive. So if you've been watching the Universal videos, you'll understand what I'm going on about with that. And then we've got things like this to move, where this roller coaster needs to probably go over where the carousel is, and the carousel needs to change. All of that cannot happen until this floor is sorted. So basically, join me for the absolute misery of what this is going to be. Right, you're up there out the way, so it's safe and sound. I've eyeballed this for about 30 seconds, and I think where the carpet joins and where I can peel it back from, because I didn't put this carpet down, I think I need to move 2 tables, because the carpet, basically the gap is here. It's about that wide, and one of the boards has just given up basically, and I think it's just the one, because that bit there is absolutely solid, but it's the bit you actually stand on to get up and down the loft ladder, and it actually gave up when I was messing around doing this with the camera in my hand at the time. So how I didn't actually end up falling down the loft ladders, that would have been a different story for a different day. So it's going to be a bit heart-wrenching really, because all of this is actually in place spot on, and I have to move the Daily Bugle back, if not potentially the Ghostbuster Firehouse as well. So I think what I'm going to try and do is just get this onto the Ninjago bit. I think that'll be okay, and hopefully it's just that one board, because what I don't want to do is start moving all of this and then having to throw everything back on the curve where you saw the roller coaster track. Like I said, I'm only making this up. I have absolutely no idea the best way of actually moving all these bits and pieces. Luckily, things were only in rough, and then it gave up. If we had actually put all the tiling down everywhere and I had to do this, this would have been an absolute nightmare. So what we've got here is I'm going to have to move the spring lanterns back. I'm going to have to, in fact, I think if I can just push the Ninjago sets backwards and I can make space on the front of these tables, I can then pull them back. I need to create as much space as possible with doing at least amount as possible. I can't push them back because the Ninjago is too high, isn't it? So that's not going to work. Oh, okay, right, this is going to be me having complete and utter mental breakdown. Oh, I've just found Robocop. I forgot I had him. So I've got Robocop here. He can go in our movie section of stuff. Yeah, so basically as we're going through, let me know, keep me entertained with regards to how we should do what with regards to what area. This big L shape, I think I might keep the same. I don't know whether to move the Ninjago stuff onto a slightly different table or put it into a slightly different space. I'm now not doing the lives up here as such, and I'm not going to be doing the unboxing up here, so I have got space for another almost 2 tables here and make a really big area. So yeah, we've got room to expand, but what we haven't got any room for is to put all of these sets onto this table, which is not good, because I can't move all of that, because that's the thing that broke when I was doing the unboxing video for the Ninjago set. So yeah, that's the last time I came up here. So that one of those last unboxing videos was when it gave up. So I need a bag to put all those pieces in, because if I lose any of those pieces and I can't refill it. So it did shatter properly, so I'm still picking up the pieces and still trying to find them. It's not the easiest thing. Don't forget I've got 3 cats as well, so they love to come up here and jump up and do all the different bits and pieces. I know it's no excuse, but when you have literally no time to do anything, when something breaks, it just stays broken for a long time. So what I'll do is I'll get all this picked up and I'll clear some space, and then I'll catch back up with you after. Right, before I put you well out of the way, plan. All of this I'm going to move from there and I'm going to squeeze it over onto this side. Everything has to move off here. It's not just this one table. I forgot there's something else that needs to be done. So every single thing you see needs to be picked up, and that hopefully should fit in that gap. I then need to get a drill, take all of these legs and all these tables apart and basically flat pack them, and we are then living the dream. Then what I'm then going to try and do is figure out if I can get another table going across here to move all of the Harry Potter bits and pieces, but I also need to get access to underneath this table because it is a big problem, which is never fun. So I am going to put you up and out the way and basically give you running commentary of what is going to smash. Fingers crossed you're good up there and nothing's going to break. Now we have got bits and pieces absolutely everywhere because we were about to start picking stuff out and then putting it into the correct place. And I got more luck of the draw. I'm actually going to end up going through the floor as well. That could be another thing that happens. So first building to move. Right, perfect stuff. We are away. Number 1, I do not want to be messing around. I want to get this done as quick as possible. If I can get them 2 deep, it will fit. If I can only get them 1 deep, I am in trouble. So I need to move that forward. I need to spin because the Ninjago docks is a base plate and a half. So if I spun that round, we should then have enough space to do that. That hopefully fits in there. That tucks in there. Right, so good. We I can kind of see how much space we've got. That was the loft ladders I've just kicked. That I nearly went straight down. Ooh, not fun. Not fun. Place a bet. What minute am I going to fall down? Because of this video just like we normally do when I do these things live. If anything goes wrong and anybody wants anything, let us know what it is that you're actually after, and I'm sure when it all gets sold off, when somebody ends up finding me, you guys and girls can take what you want. Right, all the road plates. We need the bank. Oh, this sucks. It's gonna be good fun putting it all back together, but at the same time it's not very nice doing this because all these small pieces have just been knocked off over a huge amount of time, and I've got to pick them all up off the floor anyway, so it's a good excuse to do. Oh dear, that's a 3-in-1 ice cream shop has taken a tumble, so we're two units for 2, getting closer to the edge. So we've got the tumbler, that does look nice on display. Some of these minifigures that aren't going to get used, I might put in that new minifigure cabinet, to be honest, as well. So might as well make the most of that while I can. 2.5. And that for 3. I am definitely going to fall down there. Right, that's three base plates worth moved. Corner garage. Got to remember to leave space for that Daily Bugle. That needs to go in next. Right, so that has our custom charger in it, so you guys and girls can remember doing that. That has that in. You're still recording, which is fine. Right, game on. If this falls off the top, it's going to go straight down the loft ladders. So this really is not a good idea. Can't remember how well that Quinjet's balancing as well. I can't remember if I put it on properly or if it's just there for show. Right, that's one done. Oh, that's wobbling. That's the gap done. This is extreme moving now. Contact with the contact with the floor. Will it fit? Yes, it will. Ooh, panic, 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 panic. Never worried. Never worried. Okay, right. So we've got more road up here. So every step, I've got to step over where it is. That's why I've left this on the floor, so I actually step over it because you can't see it. And that's where it can go really badly wrong. What table am I going to take apart first? Probably that one. 1 week later. I've done nothing. I'm so tired. But I've got a plan. So what I'm actually going to do is I actually thought it through. I'm going to stack the tables on top of each other here because I've got the highest ceiling height. So I just need to put that table there, put all the stuff on it, put the next table there and put the next stuff on it, and then hopefully the top one will fit obviously directly on the top, and then that'll free up all of the space. Then what I've got to try and do is rip up the carpet and quite a few floorboards as well, because if I'm going to do this I might as well see what the insulation's like, because it does get very, very cold up here in the winter, and I do want to start using this potentially as a live build type thing for the larger sets, and then obviously the new area is for all of our unboxing and bits and pieces like that, and for mainly live streams. But for the larger things, for example for the new Harry Potter set, I can't carry that up the loft ladder, so I'd have to build that up here. Possibly. So we will see what's what, but we've got all of these bits and pieces still to move. I've not touched a single thing. I need your ideas as we go with regards to what can go where. The coaster, I think I showed that off last time. That's been built. The unboxing video is done for that. Like I said, it's been a very, very busy week. All of that is still in there as a massive pile. So I'm going to get all of these moved over now, and then you're going to catch back up with me once these have moved. I've got the next few hours to get these bits and pieces sorted. Then I'm going to go off and pick myself up some bits and pieces from the Lego store. I want to come back with at least the new Marvel Lego minifigure. I know by the time of you guys watching this, but it is the 2nd of September, so they officially came out of the Lego store yesterday, and I want to see exactly how the process is with these new boxes, and more than likely that video will already be up before this is anywhere near finished. Like I said, this is a serious project and I do not want to be taking all of this out, so bear with me because this really could be a long video now. But like I said, all these tables now going to move. We're going to see exactly what's what. I'm going to get them stacked up, then you're going to catch back up with me after. It's never good when I start to a full redo. Now I think I need a trip to IKEA potentially. Keep your eyes peeled on this thing just here. Give me what you think of the idea of the space. Now if I can fit them in, what I could potentially do, again it is all up in the air, is I could put all of Diagon Alley down on the side. I can have them 2 and 2. I could have the new Harry Potter set in the middle because that's how they've got it on their photo, and then underneath we can then have the roller coaster track and everything else, depending on the height of this to the height of the actual coaster track itself. It then saves me having to raise them all up with a load of bricks. I can use it with the tables. I think 2 tables on top of each other might be too tall, because obviously with that shelf, which is just a random shelf that we could just put some bits and pieces on, and then we'll have the big coasters and all that kind of thing underneath. If for some reason we think actually the coasters are going to be lost behind there, even though they're massive, we could put the modulars as a full L shape all the way round, and then we could put the coasters back over on that side potentially, and we've got a little bit more roof height, but we'll have to sort of figure that out as we go. We need to start with an area. Don't forget we've got the Rivendell and things to sort out. Now, well, the other thing I wanted to add into the Harry Potter section was obviously how we've got this, because it is obviously the spooky drop tower ride. I think that needs to stay there somehow, and obviously as that stands right now, that is too tall to go onto this bit, so that is something that we need to take into consideration. But I think 2 tables would be too tall. I just don't know if that's going to be tall enough for some bits and pieces, but then we don't have to have the Harry Potter and the horror together. So I need to get all of the big tables stacked up. I've got to pull these small tables out and don't smash too much. First table moved, And yeah, smashed, completely wrecked it, knocked it as I was putting it down. Not only did I do that, I then stood one of the legs on one of the architecture sets. So I've smashed that into a load of pieces, and then the table slipped off the table that it's on, and it's then broken this bit that's underneath. So with one stupid mistake, I reckon it's got to be about 800-900 pieces. What a moron. Anyway, I've now got to put all of those bits and pieces on this table, which means these now need to go in a bin liner because I can't get those mixed up. Quick update, nothing else is smashed. That is what that would look like with the little table on top, but you are only going to fit the one on, so I don't think that's going to work. But then we do have a table underneath. So I don't know whether if we just kept this table as is, made that as some sort of display, and then maybe made a lower display, because you're not going to see the stuff behind it. That's the problem. When there's going to be stuff on the table, you're going to see none of that. So that was not the greatest idea. I thought in hindsight it would work. The only thing I can think of is doing like the old-fashioned train sets, where they bring them to basically where I'm stood. You crawl underneath the table, then you actually stand in the middle of the room, and you've got the tables all the way around the outside of you. So this is further forward, so you can still see the stuff behind. So I might still try that, but it is getting quite tight for space. The issues that I've got is I'm trying to stack these tables up as well, and the Joker sets and all the larger sets are too big to go underneath, and now I need to get the next big table on, and that's where the leg needs to go, and that's exactly where the bit needs. So not really thought that through. It's going to be one of those days, I think, today, but we will keep plodding on, keep trying. I'll try and drag this table over a little bit, and hopefully it should go on. But as we're going through this, and obviously all the ideas are sort of coming, let us know what you think with regards to just where I should start and how it should be, and should I do a double decker somewhere. Obviously the issues I've got is the ceiling height. It can only go somewhere where we're looking at now, as he fell down the hole. It can either start basically from here across, and obviously there'd be another table to the left hand side, and then all of that on the floor just wouldn't be there. That's where I could stand and then have like a loop all the way around. It doesn't mean I've got to crawl underneath the table, but again, it is what it is. But it means then I can reach all the stuff behind. The only place that can potentially go now is either there or this area just here when all this is getting ripped off. But you can see that all of the small bits and pieces that were hidden in between all the buildings and things, the issue I've got, again, I said this before, got no storage. That is the problem. So I think what I need to do is just put everything into one big bag, get all the big units set up, and then go through the bits bit by bit. Let me know how you guys can go sort out all your pieces, because obviously everybody does it differently. I know people use different bits and pieces, like mechanical bits. They use nuts and bolts, drawers and things like that. I have got the minifigure stand from Smith. That video's just gone live. So what I might do is just get that and then just put loads and loads of minifigures on that, so they're not sort of all over the place. And in here, behind that secret bit just in there, is all of the Lego from the 90s. There is about the same amount again in there, which is bad. Only the Lego City sets, not the modular size stuff. So yeah, we'll worry about that. But I don't think that's going to work. But I don't know if that to that would work, and then that to that would work. But I don't know if that's tall enough. That's the only thing, because I think it looks quite nice. Don't forget you'd have lighting and everything underneath there. But I just don't think we're going to have enough gap. And because everything is completely different sizes, it's really, really hard to judge and guess. But the next update will be some of those tables stacked somewhere, if I can. If not, I'll just put another table there, and then we'll see what space we've got in this corner, and we can actually finally assess the damage. And then I've got to see what the time is, because then I might have to go off, and then this might have to carry on the following day. Next level is in. So I've actually made some space now, which is okay. So I just now need to actually manage to get to the floor with all the pieces that have fallen off. Don't forget, I've got cats, everything gets absolutely smashed. But this is a full gut now. This is how it's gone to. Everything's going to have to be moved and pulled. That is the height of both of those tables. That I think is far too tall. It's just a little bit taller than the shelf. However, It does give you more room to see all the roller coasters and the things from behind. So potentially we could have 2 tables stacked on top of each other, and it gives us loads and loads of play with regards to all those kind of things. And then maybe underneath this one at the bottom, I could then just have the 2 side by side like I tried to before, and then that'll give us almost 4 tiers then. So you've got tier number 1, tier number 2, table number 3, that doesn't exist, and then table number 4 somewhere. It doesn't necessarily have to be there. Like I said, it could be from here. If I did that, then also I couldn't have anything underneath. I need to crawl underneath that. But it would then give us another table to look at from where I'm stood. So that would then come all the way over. And the other thing is I completely redesign it all, where I come in and I leave basically this space here completely for free. So I come in, all this carpet that you see now is free, but then I put some tables down here, and then I just put a row of tables across in a straight line to make the walkway narrower on the one side. And then it's just basically one big display, but then obviously you've got to really reach and go back, so don't necessarily have the walkway. So I don't know whether to do the old school train hatch where you crawl underneath and then it flops open and then you just stand there and you're in the middle of the room, or you just have it where you just stand in the corner and you can't really reach anything. I don't think that's really going to work as well. The only thing is obviously how dark that bit is on the back. But I think with regards to how wide this table is, and maybe putting one just off on here, it could potentially work. So we could get a couple more tables in, but yeah, we'll see. I am now roasting, but some of the floor's been cleared and I've stopped. Not because I'm lazy, it's because there's actually more floorboard damage than I thought. So what I am going to just do is cut the carpet so I know exactly where I'm standing, and then I can just fix it and go from there. Because the issues that we've got is right beside the loft ladder, where you put your foot, there's nothing there now. That floorboard's completely gone, which is not good. So I have nearly broken my neck again. And then further on, I think where I put the hammer, there's a bit of damage for one of the floorboards again there, and you can see potentially here that's on its way out as well. So that's not exactly ideal. That's where the tables were, so I didn't actually know it was that bad. So this is now going to be weeks worth of work, not just a weekend standard, but we are now going to do this in multiple parts. Before this bit finishes, I do want to measure up some ideas I've got for the tables, because I think what I will be able to do is actually just change the design, because the more I look at that, the more it quite makes sense me standing in the middle if I brought this back. So say starting from there and it comes across and it finishes basically here. So then I've got a gap here to get bits and pieces in and out. So it doesn't have to be the full gap. As long as I can get this piece out and push it across, that's absolutely fine. Potentially I can just have a table as it was, or there's just nothing there. That is all the rubbish that's fallen off the tables and the cats and whatever else. So there's a huge amount of space. That was just 2 tables worth just there. So that's all it is, because where the suitcase is, there is space for a 3rd table. So we've got plenty of room to play with. I just don't know the best way to walk in and sort of zigzag through, because obviously I need to stand where I am now, potentially crawl under, and then we can double deck the actual table. But then also, depending on how far we come back, I might be able to get another table in on that corner and bring it, sort of extend it either side. It sounds more complicated when it is, but I think I might be able to get another 2 tables in while giving myself a little bit more space, because I like doing that kind of thing. But before I can think that far forward, I need to actually think about not breaking my leg or falling down the loft ladders. So I have got some blades and stuff in my pocket. Obviously I'm not going to share those with you. They are just to cut the carpet up. And then once I've hacked it back, we will then see what's what. Then we can have a look with the tape measure and just see what we can measure up before we wrap this very long-winded thing up, and then turn this into an absolute disaster series. Exciting stuff. Right, first cut, and it is not good. Look at this. Not ideal. Now the boards, I do believe, are massive as well, which is really, really a pain. So I've cut it where that board is good. I don't know how wide this board is. That's going to be the bit of an issue. So I'm going to have to cut it all the way back to the width of the board. And I don't know, again, how long it is. So I didn't think these boards were that long. But if this is one massive piece and it goes all the way back to the wall, I am in serious trouble. And then if more than one of these things have gone, what I'm more than likely going to have to do is gut everything. Everything's going to have to come out, everything's going to have to come up, all the carpet's going to have to come up, because it's I think it's a tongue and groove board, isn't it? So they basically all interlock and slide with each other, and normally you start at one end and finish at the other. And if this is smack in the middle and there is any other damage anywhere else, it might just be worth doing everything at the same time, because they are supposed to, are they not? They don't slide in. Okay, so they are just timber boards, so that's all right then. So that's one bonus, but you can see they're not the lightest of things, but I bet they do slide in on the sides. But I'm going to have to come all the way up to the top, see what it's like. I just hope underneath isn't damaged as well, because that's the biggest issue if the actual bit that is screwed into is damaged. Because if they've got to come up, this is going to be a huge job. So it could get expensive very, very quickly. So watch some of the other videos and help along as you go. There obviously are plenty of Universal videos and unboxing videos and all that kind of stuff as well, but this would be a good fun little project. And going back to the table stuff quickly, the nice thing about having the tables in a different place and walking behind it, it means you can see behind and in front of a lot of the sets, which I think I would quite like to do. So, you know, you can get photos like that and different bits and pieces, but I really do need to start focusing on this a little bit more. I'm just going to cut some more of this carpet up, see how bad it actually is, and then we'll figure out exactly what's what. I am now properly roasting, but we have found the corner of the board, so it goes to that line just there. So it is a big piece. Now my only concern is, like I said before, how it's been put down, because I don't know if it is actually slid together, because looking back at this piece, if I get the installation out of the way, I do believe it is, but it looks like that is just completely rotted out. So you've got all of that bit just there, which is not good. I do believe it is a tongue board, so that has completely gone. Then we've got the insulation underneath, but it does look like there is a good chunk of insulation underneath there, so I don't have to worry about that. It's just going to be this board. Now if I can just get this board up, I'm then going to have to try and cut one to fit. It's going to be an absolute nightmare, so I am going to stop before I fall through. Let us know what you think. Ideas with the tables. Let's finish on some sort of positive. So let me get the tape measure and we'll see what's what. Now I can actually see that. I don't have to worry about breaking my neck. Now I just measured the tables up. Right, so these IKEA tables are 60 by a metre. So it's 60 wide, so that is the depth. So you go front to back, that is 60, and then left to right, which also be the length, is 1 metre wide. So if I was to stick one here, that would be sticking out 60, and then I've got that tiny walkway, which really is not going to work whatsoever. But as you can see from here, it fits in basically perfectly from left to right, so that's all I've got to do. Now if I bring this forward literally 60, which would be a full table, I would have 60, which basically where they are now would be where I'll be stood, and that would come forward. I've then got the walkway here, which is damaged, to stand on like I've been doing anyway. And then I've got to figure out, do I just keep how I had it? So I just put those two tables there and I leave this one blank. So that way I can actually crawl, if I need to, I can crawl underneath that table and go left. Now the other thing is, the only thing I can do is that if I brought these tables past this point just here, so this edge, and it went from left to right, so this way towards that, I have got longer than a metre. So if I got the next size up and double stack them, I just don't know if I'd have the ceiling height because of how much it slopes, because you can see how tight it is from there to there, because that would be where it is. That is 30, so I've got 1 foot on that side, and then I've got more. I think you're gonna have a little bit more, so I think it's gonna be just over 1 foot, which it is. So it's what, 34 centimeters, or say 13.5 inches on that side. So that is potentially how it could be just here. I'm liking that idea. Not liking that hole. That's really starting to bug me. And then I've just got to figure out what I'm going to do, because I come up in the loft ladders. That can be a table that can go there. I don't know whether to have tables lengthways. I have got a spare base at the bottom. What I would like to add into this display, I want the Legoland Mini Land back. That's something that we all were doing. I think that would really, really smart. I think that would look nice maybe on these tables. So obviously what I could always do is maybe just have these tables a lot lower, and then if I need to get into this gap, they'll be easy enough to move, so I can just pull it out of the way and I can just get in there, so that's not a problem. So it's not a huge display on the front of that table. But as you can tell, my head is now all over the place because I need to find that thickness board, which is okay, but it's an odd shape because it's all been cut to fit differently. and I've got to figure out how to get it up first without damaging the others, and then you've got to try and knock it back in. But at least I've not wrecked the carpet too much. That should just go back down. So I'm now going to spend, more than likely can't do that tomorrow, because I might be able to get the timber tomorrow. Looking at least a week or two until I have time to start doing this now, because I've got to get the materials and things, so that's not ideal. So hopefully this video will have gone live and we will be together, and then you guys and girls can let me know the table layout, and hopefully on the next upload I can get this fixed, and then I can start to place the tables, he says. Anyway, if you like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. This is the state of the Lego room currently, hence why all the unboxing videos are being done where they're being done. And at least now we've figured out exactly what is going on with that, and hopefully I can get it repaired. But guys, as always, if you've enjoyed it, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and I'll see you next one. Ta-da.